final press conference for George Kambosos, WBC franchise, WBA Super, IBF, WBO, and Ring Magazine champion. It's going to be taking on Devin Haney, the regular WBC champion, I guess you want to call it. They're fighting Saturday night here in the States. Well, meaning broadcast here in the States at 9 p.m. Eastern. Over in Australia, it's going to be on pay-per-view, $60 for $59.95. So in this next 90 minutes to 100 minutes or so, about an hour and a half, we're going to watch the press conference, go over the press conference, talk about the undercard, give my thoughts and predictions on the fight. We're going to be here on Saturday night. I am not sure if I'm going to be streaming during the main event yet, because I do want to cover and watch Stephen Fulton versus Dana Roman live. But I may be going live. I may do both events live stream. Who knows? But, you know, I'm happy to be here. We're back in the swing of things, beginning of the month. As you can see on the channel, I've been pumping out a lot of content. I'm hoping that you are appreciative of the moves we've been making. For example, Big J, my colleague. Look, let's go check it out. He is there. We made it happen. That's one thing I really get like joy out of, is even though I don't go to fights myself anymore, the ability to be able to send fights under the brand that I built, you know, through Depression, Fight View 360. You know, so Big J, my Australian colleague, he's there right now in Australia at the event. He's going to be at the press conference. Tomorrow, we're going to be streaming the weigh-in at 8 p.m. Eastern, about an hour or so before now, because of Australian time. And he's going to be there on Fight Night as credentialed media. Means a lot. So let's go do this before the press conference start. I want to go over this right here for those who didn't get a chance to see it. I did an individual video, but did you see this? The press conference, not the press conference, the face-off sit-down with Devin Haney and George Kambosos. And pretty much what's been going on is Kambosos has been calling Devin Haney a rat. Why has he been calling him a rat? Well, because he's saying that Devin Haney turned on his countrymen, was feeding intel to Devin Haney, to George Kambosos about Teofimo Lopez. So I'm guessing that's the selling point. And you know how Kambosos can get. He can start his, you know, talking his monologues, and they can be pretty entertaining. He'll be like, while he was in Vegas under all the bright lights, I was in Alaska in a crack den with my babies training for war. And come Saturday night, he's going to see. You know how he can get.
Behind,
you said I went against my own countrymen.
What's happened.
You said I went against my own countrymen. You went against your own countrymen.
You watch. When Lopez finds out now what's happened, he's going to be on your ass in Vegas. I tell you, he's going to be looking for you.
I'm so scared.
He's going to be looking for you.
Scared.
Oh, yeah, you watch.
I'm scared.
Don't worry, you got to handle with me on Sunday.
I'm shaking.
But that's a rat. That's an informant. That's a snitch. That is the lowest of the low. I'd never do that to my countrymen. Go behind their back. You don't know what a rat is. Go behind their back.
You don't know what a rat is.
Go behind their back and say, hey, his wife, they're having problems. Oh, he's at the hookah lounge. Look at this. Come on, man. Of course, I'm going to accept it. When I'm fighting him, I'm doing battle with him.
100%.
The art of war, deception. But I already had it planted. It was already there.
You went against your own countryman in Jeff Horn.
No. Yeah, it's all mind games.
And that's why he's mad at you. He's mad at you about it.
You're going to be here watching.
He's going
to be ringside when I kick your ass.
He's mad at you when it's... I liked what he stood for. I liked that he was training hard. He was focused. And I did want him to win the fight. That is 100% facts. So, yeah, I was celebrating. And he said that he would fight me after, and I had no doubt in my heart that he wouldn't fight me after. So yeah.
And here we are.
100%.
Yeah, it's been, you know, George has been trying the mind games. You know, there's no getting around that. You know, Devin Haney's father's not there. Ben Davison, whatever reason he can't travel, whether it's because of the MTK stuff or whatever reason. So pretty much he's going over there, you know, with Zab Judah's father, Yoel Judah. And, you know, he's traveled to foreign land. But I've already said openly, and I'm going to, you know, ride with it until the end, is that I have Devin Haney defeating George Kambosos via unanimous decision. Now, that's not saying George Kambosos is a slouch. After all, many of us thought, including myself, even though I wasn't too sure, because I was hearing all that stuff about Teofimo too. And me and Big J must have done maybe about close to you know, 12.5 videos on Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos. And hearing all that stuff that Teofimo was going through, me and Big J, I remember us talking about that if Teofimo lose, he would probably beat himself outside of the ring. I mean, he would lose outside of the ring, and it would translate inside of the ring or whatever, how that goes. But George is talented, and he does have heart. And what he did from the beginning was he imposed his will on Teofimo Lopez early, dropped him, you know, even though he got hurt himself later on in the fight. Nonetheless, we know he can crack. We know, excuse my language, he ain't no bitch. You know, he got the, as the saying goes, he has the dog in him. But I just feel that Devin Haney's overall the more skilled fighter. And if he wants to play a safe, smart fight, you know, and fans may call it boring in box, he can do that. Now, let me tell you what really fucks up Devin Haney right now, or what's been fucking with him, is the fact that he didn't stop Yorkis Gamboa, went the distance with him, and he didn't stop, but also got rocked by Jorge Linares, who in just one fight later got stopped by Yazair Abdulayev, who Devin Haney knocked out. So that really messed up his momentum. And I do admit, when I first heard that he signed with Matchroom, I always wanted him with Top Rank. I said that Top Rank would be the perfect promotional organization to build him up. But let's face it, from what we understand, Matchroom and Eddie Hearn and DAZN, you can't say overpaid, but they paid for what a lot of other promoters at the time didn't feel what Devin Haney was worth for what he brought to the table. So from a financial standpoint, yeah, he made out really well over at Matchroom. I don't know exactly how much money he was making, but he was making a lot just to be fighting on the zone and really not selling too many tickets, you dig? You know, I like Devin Haney, but he's not, you know, a ticket seller. He's not like a star. And this fight right here that he has with George Kambosos, hopefully is going, and along with the ESPN platform, is going to get him over the hump. Now, it's supposed to be a 2-fight deal. You know, whatever way it goes, no matter who wins, even if Kambosos wins, he's supposed to fight Devin Haney again sometime October, November, December. Then after that, next year, the winner has to start fulfilling mandatories. If it's Devin Haney, I want to see Tank Davis. You know, I think Tank Davis deserves a shot at 135 undisputed. But, you know, that's here or there. You know, I really don't believe it's going to happen. Meaning Devin Haney versus Tank Davis anytime soon in the next 3-4 years is fucked up. That's just how boxing is. You dig? But overall, I'm hyped for the fight. Looking at the undercard, since I do cover Australian boxing, like a lot of it on the channel, me and Big J, you know, there's some fights on the undercard that I'm interested in. Jason Moloney versus Aston Palicte. That is pretty much an eliminator, not a final eliminator, but an eliminator. The winner of that is going to go on to have to fight one more fight against a Thai fighter, and then there'll be the mandatory for Nonito Donaire and Inoue, which is taking place on June the 7th, next Tuesday, on Top Rank on ESPN Plus at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be up that early. I don't got shit to do with my time, and I'm going to be streaming during the main event. All right? But as far as this card, Moloney versus Palicte, quality fight. Junior Fa versus Lucas Browne. Lucas Browne's probably going to get beat the fuck up, knocked out. Quality heavyweight fight. The pay-per-view portion over in Australia is going to open up with Terry Nicholas versus LaShawn Higgins. How do you pronounce that name? Big J said it too. And also, the fight is taking place in Melbourne. I forgot how he told me to say it. Because Aussie's been getting pissed off at me because I've been saying it's happening in Sydney. And I kept saying it. But no, the fight is taking place in Melbourne, mate, Australia, okay? In the Marvel Stadium. It's expected to be somewhere between 45,000 to 50,000 or so in attendance. It's a huge fight. But also on the same night, let me get over to the press conference. It's going to be starting soon. Take your time out. Like the video, subscribe. I am T Street Controversy with 5U360. Thanks for watching. Hey, and I'm not doing this for my health. Make sure you take your time out and like the video. All right? Help a brother out. Oh, yeah, they're starting. All right, here we go. Let's go over. Head over.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final press conference for one of the biggest events in boxing this year. Now, all fighters dream of being an undefeated world champion. But the greatest goal, of course, is becoming that title that's so rare these days, becoming the undisputed champion of the world. 2 days from now, in front of 50,000 fans in Marvel Stadium here in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, it'll be a collision of those dreams, as we will have two fighters, an undefeated world champion versus an undefeated world champion for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the stars of the show at this time. Please welcome, from the United States of America, the undefeated WBA lightweight champion of the world, Devin the Dream Haney.
Jesus, this shit's loud. That's a big turnout, though, for media.
And here he comes, ladies and gentlemen.
How's everybody doing, though?
Correction by me, he is the WBC,
Everybody all right?
the reigning WBC lightweight champion of the world, Devin the Dream Haney. Undefeated versus undefeated. So at this time, let's meet his opponent from Australia. And he is the reigning WBA, WBO, IBF champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen, George Ferocious Kambosos.
It's supposed to be cold out there in Melbourne. There you go, Melbourne. So you gotta say it.
George Cambosis Jr.
I can't wait to hear what story he has to tell. You know, he's always got these long monologues and shit
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you something.
about going to war.
Doing this for 40 years, and there's just something so special in this era of the four belts when we have a battle for the undisputed world championship. It's just going to be a great, great event with 50,000 fans. We're all looking forward to it, and I know from my part, I can't wait to get out of the ring after I introduce them and watch this fight. I'm still a fan, and I'm loving every minute of this. So let me turn it over at this time to the legendary, the legendary commentator from Fox Sports Australia, Mr. Warren Smith.
Woo!
It's an absolute privilege to have Michael Buffer in the house once again. Would you please put your hands together for Michael, legend.
Yeah, right? They could have got a bigger room for this.
Great to have him back in the country for such an occasion.
By the way, shout out to Big J. He's there right now for Fight V360.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our final press conference for the Undisputed World Lightweight Championship between the Ring Magazine, the WBO, IBF, WBA and WBC franchise champion. As Michael Buffer just said, Australia's own George Ferocious Kambosos Jr. and the WBC champion, of course, Devin the Dream Haney. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we do meet today, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I extend in that respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who are joining us here today. Well, we are just 48 hours away from It's been described as this Super Bowl, I guess, here in the city that does grand finals like no other city on the planet. This is the grand final of the hottest division in world boxing. There is more on the line this Sunday than in any other fight in Australian history, and it's right here in our sporting capital, Melbourne, of course, brought to you by DeBella Entertainment. Right now, would you please welcome the Minister for Tourism, Sport and Major Events, the Honourable Martin Pakula.
Thanks, Warren. Well, this is very exciting. As a 16-year-old in 1985, I was lucky enough to be at Michael Ellis at Festival Hall. And a few years later, Fennec Nelson 2 at Princes Park. And
Does anyone want to hear from this man?
That day, won in about 93 seconds.
Everyone has to get their taste, huh?
Later, fought Leha at, I think, at Marvel, as it is now. The point is that this fight, Kambosos Haney, fits very neatly into that great tradition of world title fights that we have had here in Melbourne. And as Michael and Warren said, a unification bout for the world lightweight title, 50,000 people at Marvel Stadium. It could scarcely get more exciting.
Yeah, they have a roof. I believe it's retractable from what Big J told me. They don't have a roof?
An exciting fight. I can't wait to see it. Best of luck to everyone on the undercard as well, to Lou, to Bob, to TEG, to everyone who's put their faith in Melbourne to bring this fight here. We won't let you down as a sporting community. We love our big events here. This will be no exception, and bring it on. Very, very excited for Sunday. And at the end of it, there will be a great unified world lightweight champion. So thanks very much for being here.
Thank you, Martin, and thank you, of course, to the Victorian Government through Visit Victoria for what they've done in providing everything we'll see this weekend at Marvel Stadium. We would also, at this stage, like to thank our major sponsors, Culture Kings, where we had the press conference on Monday. Boy, that really got the ball rolling this week, didn't it? Tab, the official betting partner.
Big J right here.
Crypto Spend, the official cryptocurrency partner as well. Thank you to all our major sponsors. Now, this is a huge week for many people here today, including the president of DeBella Entertainment, Lou DeBella, who next week will be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Lou, congratulations on receiving that honour. That is tremendous news indeed. And thank you for joining us this morning. This is a hell of a show you've managed to put on here, along with Bob Arum, with a stacked card of local and international talent.
Yeah, it's a tremendous undercard. I want to say a couple of words about the main event first. And I think when you have a main event this good, you better have a good undercard, because people deserve it. George Kambosos holds most of the... Look at this array of glitter in front of you. He's earned this. He beat Teofimo Lopez. He's taken every challenge put in front of him. He's fought in front of, at times, nobody. He's traveled the world and fought on other people's territory time after time to get the opportunity to be the undisputed champion. And now he'll have the opportunity to gather every belt if he can beat Devin Haney. You know, these guys, there's a little bit of hostility, a lot of heat between them. That's to some extent expected. But you have to look at these two guys and you have to admire how they got here and what they're doing here. George fought Teofimo Lopez. There were a lot of people, including myself, who gave him the option, come back, take a victory lap, fight somebody easy. You know, you don't have to fight the huge fight next. He said, no, you have to listen to me. I only want to fight the big fights. And we went out and we made a fight with, when we couldn't originally make a deal with Devin's promoter at the time, we made a deal with Lomachenko. A war erupted in the Ukraine. Ukraine was invaded. Lomachenko did what a patriot would do, and he's back in the Ukraine right now. George gave me one option. Go and give Haney this opportunity, see if he really wants it. And this kid right over here to my left is a warrior and a guy that wants those belts and is willing to take a challenge and was willing to get on an airplane and go halfway around the world, including...
That sweater furry as fuck. It's fucking with me.
Manager, you know, lead trainer who's been with him his whole career, because he understands the importance of this moment and what this opportunity means. This is boxing. And Victoria, Melbourne,
I guess that's tumble dry only.
Get in the world, between two of the best young fighters in the world, between two of the best young champions in the world. And history is going to be made in Melbourne when, for the first time in the modern boxing era, 4 belts.
Yeah, George focused. He about to tell a story. Watch.
So I commend my champion.
Well, he was being
next to me, the most
spoon-fed
confident fighter I've ever worked
in
with.
Vegas under the bright lights.
Really
He loves
does,
saying that shit.
Believe in himself to a degree that I've never seen.
I was in the desert
before, and every time he
getting ready for war.
prognosticates something, it comes true. And to my left, a young man that was willing to take the challenge, do something that very few American fighters do, honestly, go abroad for their opportunity. That's not something historically that happens very often in American boxing. But Devin Haney's a great young champion. So I want to commend them both and make people realize, get out there, come to Marvel Stadium on Sunday, because this is a moment in history, and it's something very special. I want to thank Minister Pakula. I want to thank the people of Melbourne and of Victoria.
Luckily, I'm tall.
We've been welcomed. I can't believe how we've been welcomed,
and the chicks
how
like
nice people have been, how friendly people have been, how desirous of this level event people are. And Minister, I appreciate the fact that you want Melbourne to be one of the sports capitals of the world. And with this event Sunday, it's moving toward being one of the boxing capitals of the world. So I want to thank you. We did put together a terrific undercard. And it's a little unusual. We're going to get on the air early morning. It's going to be breakfast with boxing on Fox Sports. And the fights will begin on Fox Sports at 9:30 a.m. At 11 a.m. the pay-per-view will begin. And there'll be a couple of fights after the pay-per-view. After George's fight, there'll be a few fights of great interest, and I'll take you through those now. The first fight of the night is going to feature Hussein Fayed from Sydney making his pro debut. He's part of the ferocious Cambosis team. I know everybody, there's not a lot of room here, so people are standing there, but Hussein...
Hey, I'll be back. I'm going to smoke some weed. Fuck this shit. See you guys in a minute.
There we go, Hussein. Hussein will be fighting Pam Thanawut Fedcom from Springvale, Victoria. So if you could stand up and just wave, Pam. So.
I could have been smoking my reefer this whole time.
9:30, first fight on Fox. First fight in the international telecast. Features a young man that I just signed to a promotional contract. He is Cuban-Italian, has dual citizenship. His mom is Cuban, his dad is Italian. He had a record of 130 wins and 2 losses as a Cuban amateur. Went to Italy to spend some time with his dad, fought in 10 international competitions for Italy, won all 10. I saw a tape of him. I thought he was a prodigy. I felt like I had to sign him. And he was really dying to make his pro debut on this card, which you'll be doing, Yoel Anceloni. Yoel's fighting an undefeated young man who's viewing this as a great opportunity of his career so far. Ken Aitken from Queensland, Australia, 3-0. Ken, good to have you on the card. Good luck. Also from Team Ferocious Cambosis, Isaiah Sete will be making his pro debut. Isaiah is from Sydney. Good to have you on the card, Isaiah. He'll be fighting another undefeated fighter, Luke Gersbeck from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Luke, good luck. You can't do a major boxing show right now and not have a women's fight on the card. It's not acceptable, period. There are too many quality female fighters in the world, and women need to be represented on our shows. And there will be, on the Fox portion of the show, there will be a women's fight between 2 very evenly matched women. I got to see some tape of this first young lady, and I told her this morning she could really fight. Taylor Robertson from Brisbane. And she's fighting undefeated Sarah Higginson from Perth. Anchoring the early part of the day, leading up to the main pay-per-view telecast, we have a guy that's one of George Cambosis' best buddies. I've met him many times before because he's been on the road with George. He's traveled with him.
Oh my God, Lou.
Been a companion and a friend. And Terry, I'm happy to see you on this card and getting the opportunity to see you perform.
I mean, it is the fighters he introducing, so, we got to show some respect.
Higgins from Mornington, Victoria, Australia. Following the main event, there'll be 2 fights, and interestingly, both have ties to the rest of the card. Amari Jones. Undefeated young fighter out of Vegas, big power puncher, has the whole package, a very, very good prospect.
Nah, he's shouting out the fighters. He can't be mad at that.
Promoted by Devin Haney's promotional company. And good to have you on the card, Amari. How does it feel to, can we get a mic to Amari, possibly? Thank you. How does it feel to come with Devin to Australia and get this opportunity to fight on this kind of card?
It's a dream come true, you know. Just thank God, and, you know, we're here to handle business.
And we look forward to seeing you do it.
Thank you.
And Andrew Moloney will be the main event of the post-main card. He'll be the last fight that we will see on Sunday. How does it feel to be on the same card with your brother, and how does it feel to be on a card that's this historic?
Firstly, thank you, Lou, and thank you to Bella Entertainment, Top Rank Boxing, and everyone else involved in making this amazing event here in Melbourne. Thank you also for having me a part of it. Growing up here in Melbourne and being at Marvel Stadium so many times over the years, it really is a dream come true to be fighting there. The crowd's in for a treat for my fight. My opponent, Espinoza, he comes, he brings a lot of pressure, he throws a lot of punches, and I plan on standing there in the middle of the ring, meeting him there and breaking him down. For those coming on Sunday, make sure you don't leave after the main event. Stick around, because my fight's going to be the fireworks at the end of the night, and you don't want to miss it.
Oh, I was about to ask, who's going to say fireworks first? There we are, those fireworks.
Andrew, I just had the opportunity to meet this young man, even though I followed his career a little bit. I saw him fight in the Olympics. I think he's a tremendous talent. Also, kid looks like a movie star, which blows my mind. He doesn't look like he's ever been hit. David Nika from New Zealand.
I need Lou DiBella to stop hitting the table.
After the main event. David's also promoted.
What's going on with you, man?
Higgins. I want to acknowledge Duco Promotions. That's one of the co-promoters on this card. They've done a tremendous amount of great work with us. I particularly want to single out Nikki and Carlina, my girls, who I screamed and yelled at 4 o'clock in the morning when I was asleep and getting phone calls. And,
Yeah, Carlina's cool.
With grace and
She let us in the event.
I love you guys. Thank you for everything you've done. I want to acknowledge Rachel Carroll from TEG. TEG is another one of our co-promoters on the card. Rachel has done incredible work to get this event put together. She's a true pro and a friend, and thank you, Rach. David, how's it feel to be here?
Bob probably don't even dress himself these days. You know, he just get up, go into his limo, and head right to his jet. So getting to Australia ain't shit for him.
So how does it feel to be on this card?
Feels great. Yeah, this is a massive opportunity for me and for us Kiwis. So thank you, Lou, for having me on this card. I'm looking forward to putting on a powerful display and letting the cruiserweights around the world know who David Nika is. And, yeah, obviously just moving up the ranks. So, yeah, thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you. This is a massive show, massive. My company's not massive in size. So my people had to work around the clock for 6 months to get this event done. So I'd be remiss if I didn't put a shout out to Alex Dombroff, to Meredith Greenberg, Pete Zimbor, Sean Sullivan, Freddie Sternberg, who's been doing my PR on this. I love you guys. You've been amazing.
No, it's like, it's true. Like, he got his own jet.
Has more energy than I do. I think he's out of his fucking mind. Excuse my French, but
You know, it's not like we got to get up. You know, he probably don't even pack a bag. He probably just buy whatever shit's over there. Nah, he old and white. He packs a bag. He ain't buying no new clothes.
I've learned a tremendous amount from him. If boxing promotion was football, he'd be Tom Brady for both his longevity and the quality of the work he's done over 7 decades. He is promoted in 7 decades.
These people never heard of Tom Brady. You know, the guy throws the passes.
They've heard of Tom Brady. They've heard of Tom Brady.
Yeah, when Bob Arum curse, you feel it. He say like them hard F's. He be like, fuck. Like, he said it like that. Get the fuck out of here. Like, it's like,
I can't limit myself to a Few words.
Okay, you have as many. You're 90 years old. You can have as many words as you want.
Okay, good. No, it's a real pleasure to be here. The last time I was here, we were promoting a fight in Queensland, Brisbane, and that was a great experience. I don't know necessarily that the guy who won should have won, but it was a good fight and a good promotion. So I'm looking forward to Sunday, and why Sunday afternoon is because you look at the calendar, and
yeah, of course he got a bed in that joint.
It's prime time, which means evening.
You can see pictures of it every now and then.
So ESPN.
I don't know if it's a bed in there though, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Telecasting the card at the sweet spot where people traditionally turn on their television or their streaming service and watch an event. So it really works out well, and as long as the Aussies don't mind an afternoon fight on Sunday, it's a great marriage of doing the fight here and having it televised back in the States. This should be a terrific match. The two young men are the top of their game. There's a lot of pride that they each have. George.
Oh yeah, don't get it twisted. Bob will cuss you out, and he'll get nasty with you. Like if he annoyed with your question, he got me once. He'd be like, "What do you mean if they don't fight? They're gonna have to."
And won all of these belts. And Devin Haney, one of our bright young fighters in the United States, who is attracted a lot of attention and always gives a great performance. Both guys are undefeated.
Anytime he throw his own fighters under the bus and lose millions of dollars because of it, i.e. Terrence Crawford and Ringendahl, you know he don't give a fuck about nothing.
Put together is really a quality one. I'm particularly happy to see the Moloney boys on the card because during the COVID pandemic, we arranged for them to come to the United States, and they did fights with nobody in the audience because we weren't allowed to sell tickets. They performed extraordinarily well, and then they'd come back to Australia, the poor guys, and you had 2 weeks you had to stay in the government hotel, right?
Three occasions.
Three occasions.
George Kambosos went through that after being
Right, yeah, right. So anyway, it's going to be a really good card, a great event. I think everybody is going to enjoy themselves.
Bro, we've been here for a half an hour already.
About being undisputed. That's
Jesus.
Great. You have the belts from every organization, but there's a downside to it because there are 4 organizations. Each one charges the fighters 3%. So
Uh-oh. I think a rant is coming.
and there's 4 belts, that's 12%. That's a lot of money to take out of a purse, right? But that's what it is. So there is, like everything else in life, a downside. Wonderful to be undisputed, terrible to pay 12% of your purse to these organizations, right? And I'm really happy to see this young Filipino, even though you're fighting my guy Moloney, but I, whenever I see a
Thanks, Weston.
on the dais, brings me back a number of years ago when I was promoting Manny Pacquiao, and who, by the way, really won the election. They stole it from him. But I'm bringing Trump in to argue the case. Anyway, it's going to be a great afternoon, a terrific event, and Thank you all for having me.
You know what? Bob is in better shape mentally than fucking Joe Biden.
I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge a couple more people. I want to acknowledge Devin's team. Bill Haney, who's not here, was helpful every step of the way. Was a man's man, a man of his word. Or we wouldn't have been able to get this.
Joe is fucked up, bro. Joe is fucked up.
Lomachenko became unavailable. John Hornauer.
God bless her soul. But y'all seen the Queen today? Oh Lord. Jesus tapping her on the shoulder. Let me shut up. Let me shut up.
And literally is one of the best. George's team, Peter Kahn, his co-manager.
Jesus is knocking on the Queen door.
Greg Smith.
Your Highness.
Great guy.
Time to come home. Up to the main line.
Kambosos, who's been with George from minute one, who believed in him, who was his partner in Ferocious Promotions. And Jim, thank you for all your help on the event. And the only person who believed in George Kambosos as much as George Kambosos is his dad. I mean, Peter and myself knew we had a fighter. We didn't know we had this level of champion. I don't think anyone in the world did except George and Jimmy. So thank you guys. And back to you, Warren.
Thank you, Lou. It's great to have both of you here, of course. And Bob, thanks for those words. Nobody is Googling, trust me, nobody is Googling Tom Brady on their phones right now. Maybe we get Tom to chip in the 12% that the fighters will have to support.
Hell yeah, old people just be saying anything.
The back of the lounge.
And they can get away with it.
No doubt about that. It's time now to meet the rest of our undercard here this morning, of course, and we'll begin with
old people crazy as shit.
And we have a couple of terrific heavyweight bouts coming up on Sunday at Marvel Stadium. We'll begin with Hemi Ahio versus Christian Zoy. And firstly...
we're going to go through the whole fucking undercard. We're going to be here all night. That's it. Let me go get my blanket.
On Sunday, this is the biggest stage, unquestionably, of your career. What can we expect from those heavy hands of yours?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Melbourne. Thank you guys for being over here. I know it's a bit cold. Now, come Sunday, it's going to be a good fight. I know Christian knows what he's doing. I know he's going to be tough, but I'm in there to get him out. So come Sunday.
Australian cold is like 60 degrees. They freezing over there for that 60 degrees. They don't know nothing about no 5 below zero and shit. No snow. Something is cold. Y'all in the fucking desert.
You took this fight at short notice. How desperate are you to make a statement here on Sunday at Marvel Stadium?
My English is not. Sorry, my English is not very good.
I thought that was in Ghana. I'm high as shit. I thought that was in Ghana. I was
show
like,
my skill, to show what I can do. I took this fight on short notice, but I'm ready to give a war. It's a good fighter, but...
Yo, I fucking swore that was in Ghana. I was like, bro, like, you supposed to be fighting fucking Fury.
The first of the heavyweight bouts on Sunday. That is to be looked forward to, of course. Now, former world champion Lucas Browne is taking on New Zealand's Junior Fa. Junior, I'll begin with you. This is a tremendous clash, of course.
Now, I really like this fight. This is a really good fight. Lucas Browne's going to get knocked the fuck out, but overall, this is something to watch.
You see this as such a pivotal moment in your career?
I mean, your next fight is always your biggest fight, you know. So, you know, this is basically where I'm at, and it's such a huge stage. I mean, I'm sitting here. We've got belts all over the place. It's like, you know, really, really cool. But I noticed that I'm pretty sure that our fight is for a belt too, and I noticed that Lucas didn't bring our belt. So hopefully he doesn't.
Oh, Lucas!
Because I've made room for it.
Wait, what belt he got?
Way back home.
Keeping the belt till Sunday, Lucas?
I've been told it's for 2 belts. The one that I have, which is the WBA Oceania, and an IBF International, I believe. So I didn't bring it today because I didn't realise I was supposed to. But yeah, it looks much better in my room, that's for sure.
Why are you taking this fight? Because nobody steps into the ring with Junior Fa purely for cash, do they?
For me, I'm 43 years old. I've got, say, 3-4 more fights to go. I want to solidify my career as what it has been, and I want to take good fights.
He sure enough did.
Where I'm just there to roll someone over. Junior Fa and both him and Joseph Parker have been on the radar for many years. Obviously, it's a good little rivalry between Australia and New Zealand. So for me, it was just, it makes common sense that I fight Junior now. He's 19-1. So for me, it's a great fight. It's good for Oceania, and there's belts on the line, so it makes a lot of sense.
Lucas Big Daddy Browne versus Junior Faroukh, scheduled for 10 rounds. Thank you for being with us this morning, both Junior and Lucas. Can't wait for that one. Now to our co-main event. There are 2 belts on the line in this international bantamweight bout as Australia's former world title challenger Jason Moloney faces world number 6 from the Philippines, Aston Palicte. Aston, first off to you. You arrived in Australia earlier this week. You said
this is the most meaningful fight on the undercard. It's supposed to lead to a fight with Inoue Donaire winner
I'd like to thank God and Top Rank Promotion
after another fight.
For inviting this big event, and I'm so happy and excited because I'm part of this game and to be part of Kambosos Haney. And Kambosos is my running mate when Manny Pacquiao always fight in Las Vegas. And thanks also to Team Moloney for choosing me, his opponent, and I'm trying hard for this fight. And Moloney's a good fighter, and I'm a good fighter too. This is a good fight.
No question about that.
Yes, it is. It's a very good fight. No bullshit. Moloney can lose. And this is the, no disrespect, but this is the good Moloney.
Yeah, this is a massive opportunity for me.
The one with the punching power.
A win over Palicte will give me earn myself another opportunity to fight him for a world title, and I'm just so excited and so grateful to be a part of this show. Thank you to Bob Arum, Top Rank, and Lou DiBella for this massive opportunity. Being a part of this event has been tremendous and just given me more hunger and more determination to collect these belts and one day headline shows it myself at Marvel Stadium. And to do that and achieve my dreams and become Australia's next world champion, this is a must-win fight for me. I've worked extremely hard and I'm ready to get the job done.
It's not a world title eliminator, but it certainly has the feel of that. Good luck against Aston Palicte on Sunday. Thank you for being here both this morning.
Thank you.
It's an eliminator, but not a final eliminator. It's supposed to lead to a fight with a Thai fighter ranked number 1 by the WBC at 118. Then the winner of that would get Inoue Donaire 2 winner, possibly.
Taking on the WBC champion in Devin, the Dream Haney, in a city that does grand...
All right, here we go. You ready for Kambosos' speech? His monologue? I'm ready. Let's see what he come up with.
48 hours from the biggest fight of your life. Has the significance of this event dawned on you yet?
First off, I want to, thank God, thank Allah, my team, Top Rank, Lou DiBella, Bob Arum, ESPN, all the media that came out today. Yeah, this is the biggest stage, but this is something that I dreamed of. I knew that one day I would be here. I didn't think that it would come this early, but I'm thankful, and it's time.
George has called you a rat, a snitch, an informant. Have the mind games affected your preparation?
No, I knew that, coming in, I knew that he was going to try anything that he can to throw me off my game and, get me unfocused. But no matter what, he can say what he want to say. I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless when we step into that ring, and I will come out victorious by any means.
You have sacrificed a lot to be here. It's well known. Your father, of course, is back watching this from Las Vegas as we speak. How satisfying will that make it then if you do become the undisputed lightweight champion of the world?
I mean, very satisfying. I did it against all odds when it was, I wouldn't say stacked against me, but when it wasn't working in my favor. They were trying to do anything that they can to put me at a disadvantage, but when I come out on top, it's going to be that much sweeter. And I look forward to, bringing the belts back and showing my dad what we accomplished together.
Despite the hurdles, you are the favorite.
That's a COVID super spreader event. Where's Tony Fauci when you need him? Shut it down.
I mean, of course, I feel like I'm the far better fighter. I have far more skills than him, and I mean, I will show it on Sunday. It's for me to show in the ring. The betting odds really don't matter because I will show you. No matter what they say, what the people say, anybody can say anything, but I'm levels above him.
Thank you for being here this week. It's great to see you. Good luck on Sunday. We'll take more questions for Devin in just a moment from the media. But right now, to his opponent, George Cambosis Jr.
I don't see no social distancing.
The sacrifices Devin talks of, you know of so well. It has been a very long journey to get to this point here this Sunday at Marvel Stadium.
Just want to thank everybody for being here, all the media, obviously my promoter Lou DiBella, Bob Arum, for making this possible, the Melbourne government, all the sanctioning bodies here as well. And it has been a long, hard journey. Everyone knows that. But
here we go.
I'm ready for Sunday. All the moments have got me ready for Sunday again, and I will shock the world again. Underdog, beautiful. We are ready.
How battle-hardened...
Oh, that was just part one.
Given the preparation, the way you've plotted this path to get to this point.
I've been through it all, so whatever comes to the table on Sunday, we are ready. We are fully prepared, and we are a warrior. Whatever way we have to go, we are prepared.
You have dialed up the mental welfare. If you were playing in the Australian cricket team, you'd be in the slip cordon, chirping the batsman, as we say, in this part of the world. Has it had an effect?
Hell does that mean?
I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying the moment, just talking the truth, and if it hasn't, so be it. We step in there on Sunday, and that's where it matters.
When you walked into Marvel Stadium on Monday, you said, I manifest these things, I visualise them, and they happen. What have you visualised happening on Sunday?
Victory by any means. I have manifested everything, every part of this journey. They said we would never be here, but only two people really believed it, me and my father. So I've manifested my victory, and like I said, victory by any means on Sunday, whatever way it's got to go.
I mentioned Devin is the favourite for this fight with the betting agencies. You are the underdog. I guess that sits pretty comfortably with you.
I love the underdog status. It's okay. They've been against me my whole career. They've been saying that the whole career, so I'm still the top dog. And after Sunday, I will remain the top dog.
Again, we'll have more questions from the media in just a moment. But Lou, come back to you for a moment. This has been a fascinating week, and what a build-up it has been between these two fighters.
I'm going to use that, chirping away at the slips. All right. I'm going to use that out of context.
From George's victory against Teofimo to making another deal and then having to start from scratch on a very strict time deadline because, you know, an AFL game was actually moved to open Marvel Stadium for this event. And we had to move very quickly to get a fight deal done under very difficult circumstances. But, you know, these two young men wanted to fight each other. You know, they wanted this smoke. You know, there's that expression in boxing, you want the smoke or not, and a lot of fighters don't. A lot of fighters ride through.
Yes, I want the smoke.
And, you know, take those easy paydays, just want to get wins. These guys want to be great. And these guys are fighting for legacy, not only for money. I like to see that as someone that's been in this game this long. You know, Bob and I have been in this game sort of forever, our whole lives. And to watch two young men, you know, grab for that gold ring, it's good to see. And this was a lot of work, but it's also going to be a great day on Sunday at Marvel Stadium, and something I think everyone who goes or buys the pay-per-view is going to remember.
No doubt history is on the line, as you mentioned, of course, with two undefeated fighters taking to the ring on Sunday for the undisputed world title. We have many members, I said, as the media here this morning. We'll throw it open to the floor. Where are we going to begin? Yes.
Question for Bob. Australian Boxing Central here. First of all, thank you.
By the way, please make sure you take your time out. Like the video. It really helps us out. Let's try to get to 150. Thanks for watching.
Just wanted to know, in your opinion, where you think this fight lands both fighters in the pound-for-pound rankings.
Well, I'd be able to answer that question a lot better on late Sunday afternoon after the fight takes place. But I expect a really good fight, and that's obviously, if this fight is to be remembered as the big fight that we all hope that it is, that will depend on the fighters and depend on what happens on Sunday. I'm optimistic that this will be a tremendous battle. I know that
yes, regular
ESPN in the United States is publicizing this fight tremendously, because the fight will be shown both on the linear channel on ESPN, also the streaming service,
There you go.
ESPN Plus, and also the Spanish language ESPN. So everybody back in the States is looking forward to this match, and we expect a tremendous audience. When Manny Pacquiao fought here a number of years ago in Brisbane, we did, I think, 4.5 to 5 million homes, which was a tremendous audience, and I hope we do at least that on this telecast.
One interesting fact just to add is that for both,
It's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern,
on Sunday, this will be the biggest
11 a.m.
audience they will ever have fought
in Australia.
The majority of around the world, most of the major linear stations like Skye TV in the UK will be televising it. It's going to be all over the world, pay-per-view in Australia and New Zealand, but over the air in most of the world. So more people will watch this fight of Devin's and of George's than have watched any of their fights before. You know, streaming services make good fights, but there's a limited audience when you're streaming on a subscription service compared to fighting on linear television.
On this side of the room.
Yes, this is Mohammed Mubarak. I'm with the Electronic Urban Report, EURweb.com. My question is for both fighters. First, Devin.
This man been at like every single fight
Bring up a boxing history.
in like the last week, 2 years.
African American by the name of Jack Johnson came over here and fought for the world title against all odds. And he left with the title, came back to America victorious, and they had a parade and everything. What would this fight mean to you to repeat history in boxing?
Like I said,
Did he fight an Australian?
Sydney, Australia. Russ Curtis Bay.
Yeah, it happened before, and it'll happen again. History repeats itself, and I'll show you on Sunday. This will be huge. This will be everything, and you know, we might have a parade back in the States after.
George, to be fighting on this big stage, all the belts on the line, you got the whole country behind you. Tell us how it makes you feel to be on this stage.
It's very motivating, very inspiring to have my country's behind me. I haven't had that for a long time, so I'm very embraced by all of it. I'm just going to that next level, like I always have. But ultimately, it's me and him in that ring on Sunday.
A question for Devin. We've seen George in front of the whole world in a massive fight against Teofimo show his durability against one of the biggest power punchers on earth. Has it been a goal for you to just outbox him, or do you believe you possess the power to hurt him or even stop him?
I mean, at the end of the day, this is boxing, and we're fighting with 8-ounce gloves. One punch can change any fight, so you know, you never know. But I'm prepared for anything. You know, we're able to make adjustments, but I have a game plan that we're gonna stick to, and I feel like it's gonna really work. We've been studying George. We know the mistakes that he makes. We know the things that he does good. We know the things that he doesn't like, and I look to execute it.
Thank you. And just one more question for Jason, if that's okay. Jace, how closely are you going to be watching the Inoue Donaire fight, and do you think this fight puts you in a position to fight the winner of that?
Yeah, I'll be keeping a close eye on that fight. I'm obviously ranked very well with all the sanctioning bodies, and it's my dream to become Australia's next world champion. So whether that's to fight the winner of Inoue Donaire or the new WBO champion Paul Butler, I believe I'm ready for any of them. So first things first, get past Palicte, but then anyone, anywhere, anytime.
That should be a terrific fight, by the way. We have half of our guys are over in Japan now because we're going to be televising that fight on ESPN as well. And so it's, I mean, great when boxing can showcase really significant fights so close to each other. So I think, I don't know, but I assume that the Inoue Donaire fight's going to be televised in Australia, and it's certainly based on the prior fight that they have, well worth watching.
Yeah, good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, gentlemen. Jason Fletcher here from Tier Street Controversy Fight View 360. My question's for the Aussie fighters, George, Jason, Lucas and Andrew. You guys at the moment are probably the most 4 successful fellas we've had in Australian boxing over the last 5 or 6 years, comparing what you guys have done. Jason, you've had your championship fight. George, you've won. You've been a former champion. Yourself, you've been a former champion. How do you guys feel fighting, excuse my voice, fighting on one of the biggest cards Australia's ever produced? Because you guys are the reason this is the biggest card in Australia's history. So congratulations for one.
It's great to have so many great fighters on the undercard, especially guys that have been there at that high level, have been former world champions, have been in world title fights, have accomplished championship glory. So for myself, I feel very honoured and privileged to be able to bring this back to Australia and give the opportunity for these guys again to get that glory. So I wish them all the best, and I know they're all going to be have a successful fight on Sunday.
Yeah, and I would just add, mate, this is such a great thing for Australian boxing. You know, it's very important for us and very important for me to help grow this sport in this country, because I love boxing and I love Australia, and it's so great to be back fighting in front of my hometown after 2.5 years of being on the road, fighting in America. It's great to be back here and having these massive events in this country. It's inspiring to be a part of it, and as I said, I want to keep winning, I want to become world champion, and I want more of these events in Australia. I want to headline my own shows at Marvel Stadium and give the next generation the opportunity, like George has, for us all to shine on the worldwide stage. And yeah, I just can't wait to be a part of it, and hopefully the whole 55,000, 60,000 that we get in Marvel Stadium all walk away having really enjoyed himself and say, geez, I can't wait to see these Aussie fighters step in the ring again, and they get behind us and support us like we deserve to be supported.
We will have a chance for more interviews with the fighters beyond the official part of the press conference here this morning, of course, with one-on-ones, so they are available. So if you haven't been able to ask a question this morning, don't fret. That chance will be available to you. Of course, it is tradition at the last press conference to have the fighters, the main event, face off here in front of the stage. So please, George, Cambosis Jr. and Devin Haney, if you would like to come around to the front here, I guess. And
all right, here we go.
Of course, tickets are still available.
Uh-oh. Fisticuffs.
Sunday this week, June 5, of course. For those
Shout out to
of you
Big J.
watching home coverage,
Holding it down for Fight V360.
9:30 a.m. Eastern.
Australia.
And you can order the pay-per-view at mainevent.com.au right now. Thank you, Devin.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
We will also get a photo between the two fighters with the Minister, Martin Bakula. If Martin, you want to jump in as well and be part of the action here. And of course, as we said, mainevent.com.au is where you can book this fight. And of course, around the world, you'll see George Cambosis Jr. and Devin Haney live this Sunday from Marvel Stadium. Tomorrow, the weigh-in will be at 10 a.m. We'll see you live right then as well. Thank you, gentlemen. It has been quite intense during the course of the week, and it promised to be that way with all the belts on the line this Sunday at Marvel Stadium.
I see what they did. They only had an hour. It probably was likely televised on television over in Australia, on Fox Sports over there. They can't do that in America. They would have been told to sit the fuck down. Kelly Swanson would have been yelling her ass off. Sit. Oh. Let the cameras get their shots.
But if all the media could just hold back for a moment, we'll let all of the fighters, including the main event and undercard, and the likes of the legendary Bob Arum, exit the stage without incidents. That would be terrific. We don't want anybody being hurt here.
That's a super spreader event. That's what that is. Jesus. Boy, what kind of that was a bit of a shit show at the end, right? They got to get control over their people, over their media. Those media was out of control. Anyway, what's going on, guys? How you guys doing? So where do we begin? Well, the particulars. Here in the States, 9 p.m. Eastern on regular ESPN is going to be the card. It's going to be 4 fights. I didn't forget what 4 fights they said they were going to be. Well, we know it's going to be Jason Moloney versus Aston Palicte and Lucas Browne and Junior Fa, and then of course the main event. Here, let's go back to the face-off, even though we're not going to really be able to see too much of it. Over in Australia, it's going to be a $60 pay-per-view, $59.95. That's how much all their pay-per-views cost over there in Australia. Let's go back, get one more look at the face-off before all the camera people get in the way. So this is the final press conference. They had 2 this week. They had one on Monday, which was Memorial Day for us. No, Sunday, right? Was it Sunday night they had the press conference? I believe it was Sunday night they had the press conference. And then for us here in the States, I forgot. Anyway, they had 2 press conferences this week. And Kambosos is pretty tame. No stories, no monologue. I mean, of course, he did say he's going to war and, you know, all that stuff. I do have Devin Haney winning by unanimous decision. I'm happy for the fight because it's going to eliminate that WBC situation where the WBC franchise and the WBC, you know, regular, which Devin Haney has. Like, Devin, like for me, Teofimo Lopez had undisputed status, but he wasn't an undisputed champion, in my personal opinion. Everyone's opinion is different. You know, but for me, once they fractured the WBC between the franchise and the regular, it's like, yo, that shit don't mean nothing. So as long as they're a franchise champion in any division, whoever has that WBC belt ain't gonna really mean nothing. Kind of like if in September when Canelo versus Golovkin fight. I believe Canelo will likely be elevated to franchise champion and David Benavidez be elevated to regular WBC champion. He's interim now. But as long as there's a franchise champion above you, they're going to be looked at as the one in that division for that sanctioning body, meaning the WBC. So in this case, you're having a unification of sorts between the WBC franchise that George Kambosos has and the regular WBC. So you're going to have a full-fledged WBC champion and full undisputed, no arguing. That's Big J right there, by the way. Shout out to him. You can't argue it. Now, for those who don't know, it's supposed to be a 2-fight shindig. You know, both of the fighters are supposed to fight again sometime, you know, in the fall of this year. And then the winner's going to go on to fight Lomachico sometime in March, April, May, before this time next year. After that, hopefully, and that's crazy, we're talking about fall of 2023. We're in June of 2022 right now. Hopefully, we can see the winner of this, if they stay at 135, fight Tank Davis. The Tank Davis situation is real peculiar and bizarre right now. According to reports, it did around 275,000 or so. I believe in those numbers. I didn't know people were like, but let me tell you something about YouTube and YouTube vloggers. They're lying sacks of shit. You know, they're money hungry whores for super chat, and they just say anything. It's just poison, which is one of the reasons why, you know, I've been in heavy research and building of my podcast. I'm always going to do YouTube videos. This is the bread and butter. But me doing videos every day, like and chasing the dollar, I'm not doing that. I cover what I want. You know, you're not going to see a channel where I'm going to be doing Tank Davis videos all day, every day. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence said this on Twitter. They said that. It's not the type of channel I'm going to be, you know, running. I just can't do it. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, I believe in those Tank Davis numbers of 275,000 or so pay-per-view buys. That's a good number to me in this day and age of streaming. You know, that's about 20 or so million in revenue. And then it's going to be another 2 to 5 million or so in ticket sales. I don't know. That's a little, a large variation right there. But, you know, that's some good money for $74.99 on a pay-per-view where you're fighting a Romero, you know, barely a top 15, if that, in the 135-pound division overall. You know, yeah, Rolly sold a lot of the fight with his mouth and his shit talking and everything. You have to give him his credit for that. But we can see now that they can put Tank in with pretty much anybody, and they can at least meet a certain number. Now, Tank is supposed to be leaving Mayweather Promotions, but we don't know yet if he's leaving Mayweather Promotions because it's all up in the air. But one thing I do feel is that he wants some changes to be made, and I do feel that Tank Davis wants to fight top competition. I do feel that. But will it happen? You know, they're talking about Ryan Garcia. I'm not high on Ryan Garcia. You know, some jackass had the nerve to comment on my channel last week. If you're here watching, you son of a bitch. Some jackass had the nerve to comment on my channel saying that I said somewhere on a video of all the videos I do, he said that I said somewhere that I got Ryan Garcia beating Gervonta Tank Davis. What? And I'm sorry, that's your opinion if you think that's going to happen for the people out there. But me, I got Tank Davis putting the boot in Ryan Garcia's ass. I don't see the appeal of Ryan Garcia outside of the people who don't pay for fights. This younger generation, they love him. The kids love him. You know, but them fucking 13 to 22 years old who are Ryan Garcia, they not buying these motherfucking fights. These kids don't even know how to do shit. They can't change the tire. They can't fucking use a can opener from what I'm hearing. You know, they're wearing fucking shorts way too above the knee. You know, so you think them motherfucking Ryan Garcia fans, the Instagram followers that he supposedly had, they always talking about, oh, he's got the such and such Facebook followers. He's got the Instagram followers. Them motherfuckers don't pay for shit. So I am not, you know, I like Ryan Garcia as far as you can see, like, all right, he got some type of skill. But what, if you think Luke Campbell dropped him, Tank Davis would put him to sleep, my personal opinion. And I don't see the fight happening because Ryan Garcia is a golden boy, the zone fighter. And as you can see, we couldn't even get them to send Munguia over to Showtime. You know, I don't suck the cock of these networks or these promoters or these fighters.
How dare
My job is to tell it like it is. That's just, you know, that's just who I am. Thanks for the super chat. Sorry for all the cuss. Hold on, let me read that. I had the volume low. CMA donated $5 super chat. Do you think Kambosos will be allowed to rough play Haney like Horn did against Pac? I believe he will. Can he handle that? You know what? Let's go see who the referee is and if we ever seen him before. Kambosos, Haney. We know who that guy is. But yeah, as I was saying, man, I don't got, like, you know, boxing is kind of fucked up because you really can't gauge like what fights may be next. That's one place where UFC thrives. Even though they may not have like a lot of stars, you can still map out paths of which way fighters going to go. Now, when it comes to a guy like Tank Davis, I love him to death, but it's like, who are you going to fight, bro? You know, Isak Cruz, again, yeah, it'd be a good fight. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be hyped for it. Yeah, I'm going to cover it. But at the end of the day, when you got what Devin Haney and George Kambosos is doing, with going for Undisputed, you got to feel that Tank may be making all this money, but you got to feel that he may be a little bit better. Mind you, he's been posting shit on his social media and taking it down. Me personally, I would love to see Tank with top rank. Not Matchroom, not Eddie Hearn, but Top Rank. Now, Eddie Hearn has already openly said that he's going to try to throw a whole bunch of money at him. Let me see who the judges are. The referee will be from Panama. It's from Fight News. Let's see. Let's zoom in, I guess. Let's go look and see who this judge is. Okay. Kambosos, Devin Haney. The judges, Zoltan and Yeti of Hungary, Paul Cordina from Poland, and Benoit Roussel from Canada. I've heard a couple of these guys before, but I don't know who these dudes are. And the referee is going to be Hector Afu of Panama. Jesus. Let's see. Do we have any? Let's see if we can find any fights that he did that we know of. Okay, this is the bloke right here. This is the referee. I mean, he looked, you know, he looked pretty bodega-ish. Okay, he was the referee. Okay, there you go. Oh, no, that ain't him. That's Nelson Vasquez. Get out of here. I'm trying to find a meaningful fight from this referee. Nah, they done pulled him straight from Panama. Never seen this dude a day in my life. Well, I guess you could say he's a neutral referee. I wonder what his style is, though. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I like George Kambosos. He can talk. You know, he's obviously got heart. You know, he told Teofimo Lopez exactly what he was going to do to him. You know, and here, you know what? Let's go back and I'm going to play that real quick for you. From one of my older videos, I believe. Lopez. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to stream during the main event or not, because I do want to catch another significant fight of the weekend. Stephen Fulton versus Danny Roman, which is going to be on Showtime. That card's also starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. But from what I'm gathering is that the main event of Haney versus Kambosos may be over before the main event of Fulton versus Roman. They may not compete. I don't know. That doesn't make too much sense to me. And then here, let me see if I can find this what he said he was going to do to him. I'm just going to, just for the audio. Just for the audio. I think this is where he said it. Is this where he said it?
That's the thing that people don't understand.
When I missed you guys. I'm looking. Oh, there's me telling you guys I missed you on my last video. See, I love you guys, man. You guys are all right. Well, anyway, I was looking for the press conference from where basically, you know, Kambosos, listen, he got some skill to him. And one thing that he has, a lot of fans, you know, talk about is that he got the dog in him. You know what I mean by the dog? Like he's got that grit, that heart. You know?
The cards, man, and then the co-main.
Oh yeah, here it is.
It's back and forth shit, but at the end.
Here it is. This is from an old stream, but I couldn't find my original video, so I'm just going to play this so you can see what I'm talking about, where Kambosos pretty much told Teofimo exactly what he was going to do. And he was talking about how, you know, like he was in a hookah, and oh, man, we got to talk about this. But this is the clip right here. This is from an old stream.
At the end of the day, man, I think everybody knows who's going to win.
It's just me and you in that ring. Me and you in that ring. And I can't wait. I've been waiting a long time. Long time.
Finally, guys, just before we have a...
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I can't
Before we
wait.
have a quick picture up here, George, final predictions for Saturday night.
Victory by any means. I'm taking all them belts back to Australia. Victory by any means. I have prepared. I like a man possessed while he's been in the bright lights, enjoying himself, smoking his little hookah, you know, enjoying with the drinks and the partying, loving the bright lights, going to every fight event like a groupie. I've been in the trenches. We are coming for war. Victory by any means.
Tia?
Hey, after Saturday night, you know, let's go to a hookah bar. Let's go smoke some hookah. Yeah, for sure, right? For sure, because I've been taking this fight so lightly. Fuck out of here. Hey, at the end of the day, man, thank you guys for everything. I look forward to putting on a show as long as I choose to do it, you know, as long as I want to, depending on the fighter. And tune in, man. Don't miss it.
So yeah, that's what George Kambosos is saying, that Devin Haney's an informant, because he's saying that Devin Haney was feeding him information on Teofimo, saying he was having issues with his wife. Here, we'll run that back real quick. Run that back.
Here we are.
Here for our. I'll put the link in the chat for you right now if you want to watch this. This right here, they had a face-off sit-down on Fox Sports over in Australia.
Face-off discussion today. George, I'll start with you. Now that we're here, you see Devin Haney in the flesh. What do you see?
Like I said, the press conference, a rat. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy he's here, and I can't wait to handle business on Sunday.
Let's flesh that out. Why is this man a rat?
Look, he ratted on his own countrymen. I know he was trying to, show the weakness of Teofimo Lopez.
If I'm a rat, weren't you sparring Pacquiao for Jeff Horn?
No, that's different.
That's different, but you went against your own countrymen. You went against your own countrymen.
You were personally messaging me on Twitter.
Pacquiao.
Say, hey, look where he is. No.
You went against your own countrymen.
Jeff Horn knew exactly what I was doing. I was sparring Manny Pacquiao.
You went against your own countrymen. You said I went against my own countrymen.
What's happened.
You said I went against my own countrymen. You went against your own countrymen.
You watch. When Lopez finds out now what's happened, he's going to be on your ass in Vegas. I tell you, he's going to be looking for you.
I'm so
He's
scared.
going to be looking for you.
So scared.
Oh, yeah, you watch.
I'm scared.
Don't worry, you got to handle with me on Sunday.
I'm shaking.
That's a rat. That's an informant. That's a snitch. That is the lowest of the low. I'd never do that to my countrymen. Go behind their back. You don't know what a rat is. Go behind their back.
You don't know what a rat is.
Go behind their back and say, hey, his wife, they're having problems. Oh, he's at the hookah lounge. Look at this. Come on, man. Of course, I'm going to accept it. When I'm fighting him, I'm doing battle with him.
100%.
The art of war, deception.
So basically, I mean, I've already figured it out. He's saying, that they were in cahoots. Kambosos and Haney was in cahoots. So Devin will get some news, right? And he'll be like, oh shit, word. All right, let me text George and be like, yo, listen, he having some issues with his wife, dog. Yeah, man, he fucked up in the head. He ain't training right. George like, all right, we're ready. We're going to war. And then Devin texting him again like, yo, he in the hookah lounge. You know that shit, he got that asthma. He gonna be all fucked up in there. You got George reading that shit like, by any means. Going to war. He's out there in the hookah under the bright lights. Bro, and then he turned around and made it a whole storyline for the build up to the fight. Because it started on Monday when they had a press conference. So this all started on Monday. They had a press conference. The first time they ever met, like in person in Australia. They had a press conference on Monday. And at the very beginning, he just is like, yo, you're a rat. And and Devin kind of confused, like, whoa, what the fuck you talking about? Because over here in the States, you call somebody a rat, that shit can get you killed. For real, for real, for real. That shit get you fucked up. So Devin looking like, yo, what do you mean? You don't know what a rat means. And then George is like, you turn on your own countrymen. You telling me all Teofimo business. You're an informant. Like, and I'm just sitting there. I'm all taken back like, what is going on? But yeah, basically, it's just all out of context. He not calling him a rat. Like, yo, you told on somebody. It just doesn't make any sense. But he tried to make a whole storyline out of it. And you can tell they tried to dig it up again at the final press conference that just ended, but George didn't really feed into it. I guess somebody probably talked to him and was like, yo, you can't be calling nobody a rat, bro. Just like he stopped calling Devin Haney boy. Remember at the first press conference when they did the via satellite shit? He was calling them boys. Somebody probably told him, like, listen, we know you mean well over here in Australia, because they do that shit over there. It's not a racial thing over there where they can, they call each other boy. That's what they do. But him calling Devin Haney a boy, people were looking at him like, yo, he sounded a little racist. So I'm guessing somebody had to talk to George again. Like, yo, you can't be calling him no boy. It just look bad. See what I'm saying? So that's probably why he stopped with the rat thing today. But yeah, he was fucking sparring Manny Pacquiao and probably feeding him shit on Manny. This is it, like I said, it's nothing really to feed into, for real. It's not nothing that I really give a fuck about, to be honest. But anyway, here's the undercard. Fights that matter. Junior 5 versus Lucas Browne. That's going to probably end up being a WBA ranking somewhere. WBA, you make me sick. You got Jason Moloney taking on Aston Palicte. The winner of that will be one fight away from fighting the winner of Inoue versus Donaire, which may likely never happen. That winner of Inoue versus Donaire, which is taking place June the 7th, it's going to be over in Japan, but here in the States, it's going to be on ESPN Plus at 5:30 a.m. Eastern. So I'm going to be covering that fight. Tuesday morning, my ass is going to be up. And then, of course, the main event, George Kambosos versus Devin Haney. That is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, or you can watch it on ESPN Plus. God knows what time that shit starts over on Sky Sports. I don't cover, Sky Sports, times and shit, and get your TV guide. But yeah, shout out to Big J. He's there right now interviewing fighters. And I'm going to take a little nap after the stream and then, probably go have some sex. None of your business. But anyway, nah, I'm not going to go have no sex. That's none of your business. Shouldn't have said that. But anyway, we got some interviews coming. I'm guessing he's going to be talking to definitely the Maloneys. And as you can see, probably from that event, it's too many people there. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to get his hands on George or Devin Haney to be able to get an interview, and we can upload that content sometime in the middle of the night. But as I said, yes, it's going to be on regular ESPN at 9 p.m. Look at the rankings real quick. Whenever Loma gets out of war, I'm guessing we're going to see Haney versus Kambosos. Winner take on Lomachico in April, May of next year. How old is Lomachico now? He's got to be like, what? He'll be 35? Yeah, he's 34 now. Loma's not as old as I thought he was. I thought he would have been like 36 or something. But 34 years old. He'll be 35 by the time he sees Haney or Kambosos. If you don't know Devin Haney, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, he has a 3-fight deal with Top Rank. It's these 2 Kambosos fights, and they're both going to be in Australia, by the way. And then the 3rd fight is supposed to be Loma, correct? No, Loma is at war. Well, not at war. He's on like some guard duty or some shit, right? Over there. 35 is not old this day and age in modern technology and boxing. I don't think so. Let me know down below in the comments or if you agree. 35 is not old in boxing these days like it used to be. And because for one, fighters don't fight as much as they used to. I would say 37 is like when you're like up there in boxing these days. They're close, but I don't think 35 is old anymore in boxing. Especially if you look at what? Deontay Wilder's about 36, 37 now, right? I know Terrence Crawford's going to be 35 this year, correct? But yeah, anyway, we're going to be here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the weigh-in, which is going to be about 2 hours before now, tomorrow, Australian time or so. And in the meantime, I'm going to get up out of here, go take a little nap, and we will be back tomorrow. Take a time out, like the video. Thanks for watching. On Saturday, I don't know if I'm going to be streaming during the main event or not, but we definitely will be here for a post-fight live show where we'll be doing post-fight press conferences for both fights. Steve Fulton versus Dana Roman, that's going to be on Showtime. WBC, WBO titles at 122 pounds. And then, of course, this Haney versus Kambosos. This obviously has to have a post-fight live where we'll be going over highlights, post-fight press conferences, post-fight interviews, scorecards, if they go to the scores, etc., etc. So I'm getting up out of here. Thanks for watching. Take a time out. Please like the video, subscribe. Follow me on social media down below in the description box, all the links, and the WBC channel powered by the Vive Network. Those links for Roku, Android, Apple are also down below in the description box. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below, and see you guys tomorrow.